George the Tech.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining me here for our Audacity Beginner's Guide to VO Recording. And I know a lot of you are not actually truly beginners, but because we're going to have an advanced one as well, figured we'd call this one beginners. But this is really intended for any of you who have never even looked at Audacity or considered it, or maybe have already installed it and have used it, or maybe used it 5, 10 years ago and then kind of abandoned it for other things. This is going to be helpful to hopefully all of you. So that's our goal today. We're going to do a little introduction to Audacity, and we're going to just remind you how can it possibly be free. I'll show you the appropriate place to go and get and install Audacity. Even if you already have it, if you don't have the new version, you may want to get it. And I want to make sure that if you don't have it, you're getting it from the right place. There are plenty of websites out there which will come up when you search for Audacity, and they may not be on the up and up. You do not want to download it from the wrong place and get a virus. Um, we'll check out what's actually new in Audacity 3, and then also in Audacity's current update, which is 3.1.3. We're going to look at Audacity very briefly about what that means to run in Rosetta mode. Most of you won't care. Only people on the newest Macs have that concern. And even then, it's not a concern. Configuring your audio hardware properly. We're going to go over the preferences, recording and quality settings. Why do we record in mono anyway? Track settings. There are some hidden gems in there. We're going to look at the view menu, what things we might want to view or hide in the toolbar area. We're going to talk about how you can arrange your toolbars to better effect for voiceover work. Learning the user interface, just really what's going on in the user interface, how to get around. Handy keyboard shortcuts that I think you might want to know, or maybe even create if they aren't already in there. Waveform View, which is what most all of you will be using all the time. And another mode called Spectral View. I'll show you that as well. Recording audio and setting levels with the meter. Setting levels in Audacity is a little different from other applications because it has its own gain control. Most any other DAW out there, recording software, does not have its own gain control slider. I'll go over that and why you need to know about that. The basic editing tools that are in Twisted Wave, my beg your pardon, my brain is split between two different. I'm thinking about how it compares to Twisted Wave, and then I bring up Twisted Wave. Sorry about that. Um, Recording audio and editing, setting the levels, basic editing tools in Audacity, effects plugins. We'll look at the plugins that already come in Audacity, how you can get more, what they are, all that kind of stuff. That's going to be a very brief overview. We'll definitely be going much more into depth about plugins in the advanced class. Macro basics. What is a macro? What does it do? What's it going to do for you? And how, if you had a macro created for you, how would you import them to use them? File formats for saving your project, waves, or MP3 files, which settings you should use. And finally, questions and answers. So, how can Audacity be free? I mean, everything else out there, almost everything. There are some other free ones out there, but most of them cost something. Well, Audacity is completely free, open source software, and you're free to use the application for any use, personal, commercial, or educational, including installing it on as many computers as you want, which is great. I mean, that is definitely an advantage of Audacity. You never, ever have to worry about a serial number, a license, an iLock. It just works as soon as you install it. You can't beat that, especially if you have multiple systems. The authors of Audacity, they decided to release it under the General Public License, the GPL, out of generosity, moral reasons, because a lot of people that are on the team think that all software should be free. Pretty radical idea, but or that there is a place really for both free and proprietary software. Um, And because Audacity is a free license, dozens of people around the world have been able to contribute code, bug fixes, documentation, and graphics to Audacity. But because it's free, there is no on-demand technical support desk, help desk, or anything from the actual development team on the website or within the app. So there certainly is resources out there, user groups, of course, being a big one of them, forums, Facebook groups, but there isn't tech support to figure out why is my audio glitching with Audacity and what do I do about it? You're not going to get that from Audacity or their team. So let's just go real quick into where you should appropriately be looking to install Audacity from on the web. Now, not every place on the web is going to be trustworthy. And so that's what I wanted to show you this, guys, today, is where should you be looking for Audacity? Well, the best place to get it from, and really the only place you should be getting it from, is audacityteam.org. Back in the day, it used to be on something called SourceForge. No longer. Now they have their own domain and their own place where Audacity lives, and it's the only place you should be downloading it. Now, scrolling down, you'll see download Audacity. If you click on that, it's going to take you to the download page, which has become a little bit more easy to understand, a little bit more user friendly, I think, than it used to be. It used to be a little more arcane about it's a little geeky. Let's just put it that way. Now you can just click on where it says download Audacity, and it's gonna take you to their file server service, the one that they use called FOSS Hub. This may look weird, but this is from Audacity themselves. This is official. And you'll just go down and you'll look for the appropriate version for your system. It runs on Linux too. It runs on Mac OS, obviously, Windows 32, and Windows 64-bit. So it comes from both places. It works on both versions. So right there on audacityteam.org, click download. And when you're on the download page, once again, click download Audacity. And that will take you to FOSS Hub, where the actual downloads are actually provided to you. The one we would use on this system would be the Mac OS version. If you're on a Windows system, I would recommend downloading the 64-bit installer. If you're on a really old Windows system, Windows XP, then you would probably be using the 32-bit version. That really goes back a long way, but some of you may still actually have Windows XP on an old system. Okay, that's where you're going to go ahead and download and install the application. All right. So the current version you'll be installing is version 3.1.3 as of the time of this presentation. You got it, Dad. By the way, George A. Whittam, that's my dad. Just says George A., but that's him. He's probably trying to be incognito, I think. Thanks for joining me, Dad. So 3.1.3 is the version you'll be currently using. So if you're on an older version, if you're on 2 and you've been using 2 for a very long time, do you have to upgrade to 3? No, you really don't. As long as 2 is working for you, you're comfortable with it, it's stable, and it's doing its job, it's fine. But 3's been out quite a long time. There's been a few significant updates to it and some really helpful features. So I really, really encourage you to move up to version 3, which, as you can see from here, the release of Audacity 3.0.0, as they denote the name, introduced a new unified project file called an AUP3 file. It's a project structure for Audacity with which each entire project is held in a single unified database file. So you may remember the older versions, if you use them, each project had a lot of these AUP files or a bunch of smaller files associated with it. That kind of became a messy thing. what they've done now is